Dear colleagues, thank you for being here today. I am L.Mitsevich from Minsk, Belarus, and let me introduce the other honored author, Dr. N.Zhukovskaya, and our presentation, 3D Modeling and GIS Analysis for Aerodrome Forest Obstacle Monitoring. Let's point out the air navigation definitions covered in the presentation. High artificial or natural vertical objects near an aerodrome runway can be obstacles and cause accidents during aircraft takeoff and landing. In general, obstacles are fixed and movable vertical objects that extend above the special limitation surfaces. The obstacle limitation surface defines maximum permissible obstacle heights. Positive extents are considered critical. Such objects must be removed. And here we will consider natural forest or garden vegetation as it needs to be under control. First of all, let's see at the problem and the possible solution. Many European aerodromes and airports are located in areas densely covered with forests. So, tree and bush vegetation should be under periodic monitoring because of their growth to provide the flight safety. The study was aimed to determine the maximum permissible obstacle height and tree age when it reaches the obstacle limitation surface altitude. For these purposes, it's proposed to use geospatial modeling and geoinformation analysis methods. The main goal of the research was to manage the aerodrome forest plantation growth and plan it instead of the labor and cost-intensive monitoring. At the research area climatic zone, forest under 60 years old grows at average 40 cm per year, but the tree species growth differs. Based on the reference values, it's possible to calculate the coniferous and deciduous stands' permissible age in order to predict when a plantation reaches a certain height. The proposed solution is mathematical and cartographic modeling based on the geospatial data. Next, we will discuss the research method. To build the digital cartographic models, the methods of geospatial modeling, correlation, and regression analysis are used. At the first stage, the difference matrix between obstacle limitation models and digital terrain models is created. To get the different matrix point cloud, the Earth's surface altitude is subtracted from the obstacle limitation surface altitude at the same point. Then, the forest stand age, when it reaches the maximum permissible height, is calculated by regression analysis. As the initial data for modeling the tree height and age relationship, normal yield tables of the forest stands are used. The most widespread in the studied area forest formations are investigated. For all analyzed species, the relationship between age and height is most accurately estimated by a third-degree polynomial. For a regression model, the coefficient of determination is about 99%. So, every isoline would be assigned the tree age with a very precise value. The study experiment was carried out for the Minsk 2 aerodrome, the two runway takeoff and landing areas. The extra high-resolution stereo imagery from airborne digital scanner ADS-100 and remote sensing scanner Pleiades were used as a photogrammetric basis. The digital photogrammetric workstation photomod modules for aerial triangulation and geospatial modeling were used. The ArcGIS instruments were implemented for calculations, tree height, age analysis, and visualization. The next 5 models were built during the experiment. Dense digital models of aerodrome obstacle surfaces were created from vector models calculated according to the aerodrome Minsk 2 category. The digital terrain model was built up on the filtered and manually checked point cloud. The difference matrix between OLS and DTM models was created as a regular digital elevation model. Contours were formed on the model with a step section of 1 meter. The total geodetic and measurement accuracy of the obtained models meet the flight safety requirements of 3 meter for vertical objects according to the ICAO rules. As a source of the tree growth rate for Belarus bioclimate zones, the Forest Management Reference Book was used. Pine, spruce, birch, and black elder forest formations are investigated as they are most widespread in the studied area. The data on the maximum attainable heights for each tree species were analyzed. Such attributes as the age and maximum permissible height were added to ISOLINE's feature dataset. The attribute fields were filled in automatically using the ArcGIS field calculator and regression equations calculated for each analyzed tree species. The ISOLINEs with maximum permissible heights were assigned the attributes of maximum allowable age. For better perception, obtained data are ranked in ascending order and are colored from red, the lowest and fastest growing trees, to blue, not increasing in height, as it's seen on figures 3 and 4. When analyzing models of pine and birch species, it can be seen that birch stands have slightly higher growth rate. And, as a result, in some areas they reach the permissible height earlier. To summarize the results of the study, let's point following. On aerodrome areas where constant monitoring and forest elimination are required, the methods of geospatial and cartographic modeling are proposed for predicting of the forest stand heights. The total geodetic and measurement accuracy of the obtained models meet the flight safety requirements for vertical objects and can be used for forest management at the aerodrome areas. To model the correlation between the different tree height and age, regression analysis for each forest stand species was used. At the aerodrome areas, with the geospatial model of permissible tree obstacle height and age, the problems of forest planning, periodic deforestation, and reforestation can be solved while ensuring flight safety. On the obtained models, it is possible to determine the forest age classes, which also help to define the boundaries of the territory for effective forest management. We can see such areas on the figures 5 and 6 colored blue. It is important both for flight safety and forest land administration to define territory where trees may grow until they reach mature felling age, the shaded areas in figures. When comparing models, it can be seen that conifers grow in height more slowly than deciduous ones. Following the forest reference book, in areas with temperate climate, the maximum tree height is 37.3 meters for pine, and the tree no longer grows. Therefore, where the isoline height exceeds 38 meters, any forest stands can grow without restrictions and the need for monitoring. But in climatic zones with other tree species, it is necessary to take into account their local growth rates and maximum heights. The technology of vertical zoning can be used for many tasks of near aerodrome territory land management, construction of power lines, bridges, road networks, etc. Finally, let me present some references used in the research and express sincere gratitude to my colleagues and the great Congress team for preparing and visiting this amazing digital event. Thank you for watching.